All right, so today we've got 3 things that I think you should know before buying a lake property here in East Tennessee. Number 1, our major bodies of water are all reservoirs, meaning that they're dammed up. So back in the 30s, TVA started damming up sections of the Tennessee River to help prevent flooding. Now we also use those dams to generate electricity as well, and in fact there's 29 power generating dams along the Tennessee River. We also use the dams to identify different stretches of the Tennessee River. So for instance, let's take Fort Loudon Lake. You've got Fort Loudon that flows through Knoxville, through Blount County. It hits Fort Loudon Dam. Once it goes through Fort Loudon Dam, then that water is then Watts Bar. Okay, then it's going to go all the way up Watts Bar. It's going to hit Watts Bar Dam. It's going to go through Watts Bar Dam, and then it's going to become the Chickamauga. Okay, so our rivers, also we call them lakes. I know that's kind of confusing. I'll explain a little bit later. But those are dammed up sections of the Tennessee River. And again, we use those dams to prevent flooding and to generate a whole bunch of electricity, which everyone needs nowadays. So the second thing that you should know before buying a lake property here in East Tennessee is that we have something called summer and winter pool. What that means is that there's a winter drawdown. Okay, so here in East Tennessee, our flooding season is during the winter time. So to accommodate for that, TVA is going to go ahead and drop the water levels anywhere from like 5 to 10 feet. It's, somewhere in there. I'll show you a video so you can kind of get an idea for yourself. So as a homeowner or a potential homeowner, what does this mean for you? Well, it means that during summertime, the water is going to be at full pull. And it's going to stay there. It's going to stay there all the way until, probably the end of October. There's not really a set date in which they lower it and raise it, but I can tell you through experience, it's usually the end of October is when they drop it, and somewhere around April, end of March is whenever they're going to bring it back up. What that means for you is that, the water is going to recede from the banks a little bit. It means that, let's say that your boat dock has 10 feet of water underneath it during summer pool. Well, you're going to have 5 feet of water underneath it during winter pool. If you've got 40 feet, you're going to have 35, 30-ish, somewhere, in that ballpark. And so what a lot of people are doing, what a lot of people have been doing is they use boat lifts, and that's not uncommon. You see them anywhere in the world you go, especially on the coast where they have to deal with tides and things like that. So a lot of people are using the lifts, and that's how they'll get their boat up and down during the winter time if they're going to use it. For the most part, your pleasure boating season is well within the summer pool range. Now, I do have a lot of people who reach out and they say, Chevy, what's this winter pool thing? Does this mean that during the wintertime the lake is just a giant mud pit? Not at all, okay? Fort Loudon Lake, for instance, most of our lakes, the deepest point is somewhere around like 70. You get up to Douglas and Norris and they're a lot deeper, they're 200 plus. But you're never going to have a situation where it's just a giant mud pit unless you live in a very shallow cove. Okay, if you live in the back of a creek or a cove or something like that where your deepest section is like 5 feet, well then it's probably, you're probably going to see a whole bunch of shore. A lot of that's going to be muddy. There's going to be rocks and things like that. But the thing about it is it's only going to be in the shallow sections. You're obviously going to have a deeper channel that comes in, and if you're looking that way, you're still going to maintain your lake view. It's still going to be very pretty. And during the summertime, you're not even going to be thinking about it. So for the most part, as far as winter and summer pool goes, it's not a huge issue at all. It's just a preventative thing that we have to do here to accommodate for the rain. And like I said, the summer pool is well within the range of when you're going to want to be out there enjoying your boat and everything else. So the third thing that you need to know before buying your lake property here in East Tennessee is that we have current. Again, it's the Tennessee River, right? So there's always water flowing through. Now, this is important for you to know because, if you're ever up near the dam or something, you're going to see the water moves really quickly. what you'll find is that there's going to be a skinny section of the river that's going to, go from the dam about a mile upstream, and then you're going to see it's going to open way up. Okay, when that river opens up, that's kind of what we consider the lake section or the lake part. That's where the majority of your recreational activities are going on. That's, we're also where the current slows down, because you've got this skinnier water, pushing a whole bunch of water through. Once it hits that wide section, it just slows way down. Now, current, 9 times out of 10, you're not even going to know that it's there. People are wakeboarding, tubing, jet skiing, they're doing all the fun stuff. And the only time that you're really going to notice that current is going to be after like a lot of rain. When we get a lot of rain here, even if it's, counties way off, that are hitting different parts of the Tennessee River, well, that stuff all washes down through the whole, system. What you'll see is that the water will turn brown. It'll be like almost like chocolate milk. There'll be a lot of debris floating around. There could be some logs floating around. It's not the most ideal situation, but again, because there's current, it washes through pretty darn quick. I mean, normally after like a day or two, you go back out there and it is just beautiful. It's the same old lake you're used to seeing. So 9 times out of 10, current is not going to be any issue at all for you. If you do want to take your boat out after some rain or during the rain or whatever, the biggest thing is just to make sure you're being aware of debris floating down the river. Make sure that you're looking out for logs. Don't be hauling butt up the river, just, not worrying about anything, because that's when you're going to, hit a log and, blow your lower unit out. Anyways, that's been it. I'm going to leave my contact information down below in the link. So if y'all have any other questions or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Thanks for watching.